vuelta y vive. Gotta live, gotta breathe, gotta eat, gotta dar la vuelta y vive.
Alrighty then, pues, Da la Vuelta y Vive, another episode of Da la Vuelta y Vive. And we're not numbering these because I don't think that they'll kind of follow that procedure and say, wow, well, I'm going to kind of go back and see how everything's looking now versus the first podcast that we did. Because I don't really want to measure. I don't like that measuring thing. Matter of fact, can I take these off? Yeah, right. I can take them off. Yeah, because we do whatever the fuck we want here in Da la Vuelta y Vive. So it's a very special day for us today because we're alive, we're here. And every day that we're here, it has to be done to the best of our ability. We've talked about becoming a legend. Am I saying a lot? That's because Kyle told me, he says, hey, I'm going to critique you. I'm like, listen to the freaking podcast, dude, so maybe you can learn something. But he's saying, I think he's saying I'm saying a lot. So I'm going to watch that. I'm going to see if I can stop from saying a lot. But I think a lot of the times that, see, there you go, that happens is that I'm actually thinking. So I'm kind of thinking of what I'm going to say next, or it just so happens that the next word that I'm going to say is actually going to start with you know. So I'm not trying to find excuses. So I got to, instead of saying I want to stop. I don't know. You tell me, Victor. We'll finish the show and then you tell me, hey, we'll. There I did it again. But you see, is actually a word that I'm going to use. So it's not like I'm saying it a lot. It's just a word, that I'm going to use. So, there you go. All right. So we're alive and, other people are not. And as we go through life, there's certain things that are going to, hit us. They're going to touch us. They're going to change the way we feel and the way we think. And it depends on other people. And this is my point. So eventually it gets to a point in our lives that we have people that we love that are older than we are. And the circle of life gets here, and it's getting to that time to where we got to get ready for that goodbye. And I think we don't think about it enough. I think we should take the time to think about what in fact is going on when we're getting older, or there's something that hits our family, the sickness in the family. And that's what I'm talking about in particular, a sickness in the family. So we're going on 2 years now that we got the news that my dad had lymphoma. So we as a family, we saw as a family together that we were going to come together and we were going to be there for my dad, right? But each individual one of us as his kids, we went through a different thought process or scenario, because I've had conversations with my sisters and their thought process is a little different than mine, or the acceptance of a sickness that could, turn into death, And so a lot of things start happening. Like, okay, in my case, I took that particular situation, and I'm nobody to do it, but I really evaluated my life, my life with my dad. I evaluated his life as himself and his life as a husband. So I kind of looked at it from different perspectives, and I just want to for it to be coming from me. And so when I did that, I thought to myself, okay, I made the analysis and I said, okay, he's 78 years old. He's lived a good life. He was a DJ for over 50 years. He's still DJing right now as we speak, and he was one of the pioneers of Spanish broadcasting here in the United States. And so after evaluating, it's not that I was already kind of just pronouncing him to die, but it gave me personally, peace of mind in thinking, you know what? I mean, I'm prepared. I'm prepared. Then, of course, I got to look at what he's feeling and what he wants to do. Does he want to fight this battle? Does he want to go out there and get the chemo treatment and go all out and we can't balance, and we can't say, okay, well, if you don't get the treatment, then you have what, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, a year, 2 years, whatever. But after, for me, thinking about it, I thought to myself, well, nobody can answer that. Nobody can answer that. Does it stop me? And I'm looking at myself and looking at what my thought process that came in. Does it make me feel better knowing that if the time comes that I can go ahead and say, if he decided not to get, let's say, not to get the therapy, the chemotherapy, and he made that choice and said, you know what, I'm going to live it out, see where it takes me. It's his call at the end. It's his call, and my job was to support whatever his call was. But I did go through that, and I think to myself, I'm like, oh man, am I out of line here? So then he starts the process. And of course, I was the one that was able to be with him throughout the therapy sessions and taking him to the doctor. And so being that I was the one that was doing that, the whole family was helping, but I was the one that was firsthand seeing the change in him, the weakness, the transformation from a strong person to a weak person, a weak old person that, we're all going there. And it was hard, and it's been hard for me to see that transformation. Part of what we were talking about a while ago was that La Cruzada Radio was built with that in mind. In 2017, we came up with the idea of doing the internet radio because we knew that this time was coming. And it was a blessing to me that I was able to bring Victor in also, because it's another generation of broadcasters that can come in and take the torch and continue. I think that's what my dad would want. And the thing is, I can ask him, and I have asked him, and he's pretty much said yes, of course. He continues to broadcast, but to get the same Hugo as before, no, he's not. He's not. It's obvious to all of us that he's not that same strong person that was able to think on his feet and was able to do what I'm doing right now, which is, pretty much on the fly coming and talking to you about those preparations that we go through when we see a loved one go through something difficult. Now, there's different types of us. There's people that take it really hard, and they'd rather grieve right now, so that when the time comes, they're ready for it. There's some people that just wait and just they don't believe in death. They don't believe in that death is coming to all of us, and that's fine. It's whatever you think and whatever the thought process is. But this is one thing that I think that we all have to really come together in, and this is the reality that everybody's gonna die, and we have to work together to try to get to that. I did chaplaincy for hospice, and there was a few things that I can tell you that I know, that I lived, that I saw, that we have to think about when somebody is getting to that point on hospice and getting point to saying goodbye to us, right? And one of them, I'll tell you right off the bat, is they want peace. Peace, not only mentally, spiritually, but physically. Okay, and all three levels, we have to have that peace, and that's gonna be all of us. And so you're like, okay, so what are you talking about? Okay, I can understand peace mentally. Well, you want to, any issues that you have with your family members or whoever, you want to make sure that those are taken care of. You want to make sure that that you're talking to your kid that you haven't talked to in 30 years. The other one, spiritually, of course, you want to know that you're good with God. You're good with a being. You're good with whatever is coming next. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can, whatever religion you are, or whatever, we all go through the same thing. What is next? Okay. And then, of course, physical. Physical is they want to be clean. It's amazing. It's amazing. My first case as a chaplain, as a hospice chaplain, gentleman was very anxious, and I just couldn't see peace in him. I wanted to talk to him about his spirituality, and he couldn't talk about it. So I had the provider bathe him, clean him, and once I did that, you could see a change in this man. He couldn't talk, so when I would ask him is yes or no. Just so I asked him questions, a series of questions dealing with spirituality. I asked him if we could pray. He said, yes. He said, yes. We prayed. I told him, I said, look, I'm going to talk to your wife, and then I'll come back and we'll continue. So I turned around, started talking to his wife. We're talking to his wife, preparing her, pretty much asking her the same questions. And as I turned, I looked at him, and he passed. He died. My first case, my first patient as a chaplain, and patient dies. And my first reaction was bring in the family. Let's bring in the family. Let's all say goodbye. Okay, and we did, and it was cleansing for everybody. It was eye-opening for everybody. And one of the things that I couldn't find and see was that they were prepared. They hadn't gotten a funeral home. They hadn't gotten a plot. And so these are issues that you don't want to be going through. And I'm not trying to sell plots here or anything, because I'm not even going to go there. But all that is preparing mentally, spiritually, physically, is preparing us to get. Again, anything that we do, preparing us. But this is the kicker here, is that every day we have to think about it. Every day we have to think that we're going to lose a loved one. Every day we have to think about we might be next. Every single day, think about it. It's not negative. Don't look at it from a negative perspective and say, oh, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. No, this is bad. It's bad. No. It's not bad. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful journey. It's a beautiful journey when we look at it as a journey. Let's look at what mentally happens to us when we actually talk about, I might not be here tomorrow. What am I going to do today? He might not be here tomorrow. She might not be here tomorrow. So what am I going to do? As an individual, what am I going to do for my love, that person that I love with all my heart? What am I going to do for him? Or maybe you're one of those people that are mad at your mom or dad, and you haven't talked to them in 30 years. Is it going to matter if they're gone? If it is, and I'm not saying if they're not going to matter, and you're going to go along your day and everything's going to pass and you're going to be fine, then fine. I'm not here, and nobody's here to tell you who you want to care for or not. But one thing that is for sure is that whatever you feel for that person, think about it. If you love that person, think about that person dying. Think about that person's time is coming, because all of us are going there. That is anybody. That's your kids. That's your wife. That's everybody. When you do that, then something clicks and says, hey, wait a minute. Should I be yelling at my kids like this? Should I be treating my kids like this? Should I be turning my back on them when they need me? Shoot, I might not be here. Shoot, but what about them? They might not be here. And it triggers something. When you're going to do something that you're not supposed to, and you're like, damn, if I do this, it's going to hurt my parents. And if it hurts my parents, then am I going to have a chance to say I'm sorry? Am I going to have a chance to go and talk to them and explain? So, all these things are things that we got to consider. And so when we talk about death, yeah, you can say, okay, it's bad. My dad got cancer, and we're waiting for him to die. And I don't know what I'm gonna do without him. I just I sit here and I think to myself, okay, what type of person am I gonna be? I think to myself, have I been a good dad? I think to myself, have I lived the life that he would want for me to live? Have I been this type of person that he would be proud of? Or should I say to myself, you know what? I'm going to live. I'm the type of person right now that my dad can say, you know what? I'm proud of my son. I'm the type of person that my dad is saying to himself right now, you know what? My son cares about people. My son is out there doing this, doing that right now while he's still living. My son comes and visits me, and when he comes and visits me, it just shines my day. He is his mom's favorite. He's going to go there. He changes his mom right now when it counts. Or is he going to say, I don't know. I don't know where my son is at. I don't know where my daughter's at. It's scary, man. It's scary if you really look at it. But at the same time, and I think it's scary when you don't know the person's reaction. I choose to be me right now. I choose to know that day is coming. And because I know that day is coming, I choose to go and see him. I choose to be the best in what I can be so that he can be proud of me. I choose to be, you name it. I had a long conversation with Kyle this weekend. And on the next show, I think we're going to talk about this. But it goes back to that saying where, you say you were looking for some acceptance from dad. I'm looking for acceptance from dad. Never got it. But that's a different show. Death is going to come to us all. How we look at it right now, it really changes the perspective as to how we're going to act with our loved ones. Look at your own death, but also look at theirs. And look at it for the positive that it is. You're not throwing somebody into the grave. In doing so, you spark something in your mind, in your brain, in your heart, and you say to yourself, you know what? I got to do for me. I got to do for me, and in doing so for me, I do for them. Da la vuelta y vive. Vive. No mueras.